This is kind of old news now, but I forgot to ask about it last time we saw you with the rule changes regarding faking injuries and stuff. Do you like what they've adopted there?
Well, I'll be honest with you, I have to look at it. There were so many different things going around. I don't know where, to be honest with you, I don't know where they settled on that. I think, is it where you have to set out?
It has to do with it's a timeout thing, isn't it? It's like, yeah. And it's after they like, what is it? I don't know the exact wording of it.
After they spot the ball, if they go down, it's either going to cost you a timeout. You know, any timeouts will be a 5-yard penalty.
Well, our compliance girl had a baby, so I'm not up on that current rule. Hannah did. But here's what I'll tell you. We don't do it, so I think there's no reason for it in the game. I think putting that on the officials is very, very difficult, and so we have to do something about it, because momentum is momentum. And if somebody wants to fake an injury, it needs to cost them a timeout or whatever, whatever they decide with the rule. But we don't do it. We don't teach it. So I refuse to do it. It's not part of the game. I think it taints the game. And so if that's the rule, I like it.
Because I think the Coaches Association had floated the idea of, you have to sit out for the rest of whatever it is, the drive,
I think,
or the series.
I think everybody was okay with that, except for the communication part, if that happened to be your guy, and the quarterback. If you're in a 2-minute drive and the quarterback gets hurt, because again, if a guy goes down, the rule isn't did he fake it, or is it if he goes down, he goes down. And I think there was a big concern about trying to have a 2-minute drive and your quarterback, gets dinged up a little bit, and you've got to use a timeout. You don't have one. You understand what I'm saying. So I think that was the biggest, that and the communication defensively.
I always wonder, is everybody, if you're somebody's cheating on faking injuries, is the training staff in on it? It's everybody had to be on the same page. How's that work?
Once you run out there, a lot of times, they'll tell you whether it's real or not, and then they're not just going to pull him up right then and there. You got to wait a minute. It's days of our lives or whatever. You know what I mean? All my children. You got to act a little bit,
work it out. Your freshman defensive tackles, do you think Bell or Otis, either of those guys, might be able to help you this year?
They might. Certainly have the athletic ability. I like both those kids. They're doing better. They certainly might. They're both good gets, I'll tell you that. They're athletic.
Well, after watching, obviously, 5 practices, anything stick out as far as, you got the April portal window coming up, and, you've talked about some of the guys you were able to get last year, a lot of good contributors. Yeah. Any areas you feel like you're a little thin, need a boost?
I think when you look at it, I think it's defensively, and I'm talking about depth. We're over offensively. We're over our number. So most of our help would be, I thought, Trey, earlier we might need some inside help, but, we'll see where Oki's at. Obviously, we have Cam Ball. I'm very, very happy with Ian and Danny. Defensive end-wise, and then some secondary. We've got to do something there as well. That would, to me, be where we would go in the portal if we have scholarships available, which I'm anticipating we probably will.
Do you mean more corner or safety or both? Or
both.
Is it more about just depth? I know safety numbers are a little low.
Both, yeah, both. We originally when we had our first meeting, I was talking about 6. I was talking about 1 or 2 up front, and the rest of them in the back end. So I don't know that that's changed because of what you said. Our numbers are and some of it's because 4 of them are out, but our numbers are low back there. We've got to do that, and I've learned, at least I've learned this in the portal, if a guy leaves and say he's not a starter. Well, let's do it the other way. How valuable was Hudson Clark for 4 years for us? You know, he got a lot of hell because of this or that or the other, but he wouldn't have been out there if he wasn't our best option. And it was corner, it was hog, it was safety. So I have learned that the depth is very, very important. You don't obviously go in the portal for depth. You go in for a starter, but you need depth, and you'll get it from the guy who's starting now, or you'll get it from, you know, the guy coming in from the portal. So the one thing I'll say this is I think our competition at most every spot right now is pretty good, and I think that's why I feel like that's why we're having really good practices so far.
Back to Monte, he obviously was, you know, mostly a special teams player last year,
Yeah.
coming from baseball. How big of a jump has he made from being, I guess, reintroduced to football in a way to now? And can he legitimately help? Because he has made some plays out there.
Yeah.
But does a guy go from 28-year-old special teams player to 29-year-old key player for you?
I think that he's improving. I think that he may improve because of his age and he was in baseball and all. I think he may have more of a gradual improvement, which I think maybe you're alluding to, or that's what I'm alluding to. How about that? I'm seeing that. You know, the younger they are, it seems to me like they jump faster, you know. So I think the more he practices, the more he gets used to playing football. Again, it's not only that he never played football for that many years, but he was playing sports, but it was another sport, and age. But he had two really nice catches on what's the day? Tuesday, and I think the competition that he's in right now with these other guys, I think that will help him continue to strain and get better.
Coach, I've got one last question. On Courtney Crutchfield, how's he coming along and improving and getting better as spring moves along?
He's getting better. You know, he's pushing himself better than what he did early. A lot of that has to do with understanding the system, understanding the route tree, all those things, how they group together. He's doing a better job. I'll say that he's doing a better job. He's coming on each day. As long as he continues to work, I think he'll be a fine player for us.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.